Michael Landon was a legend of the small screen who eventually launched a successful filmmaking career after starring in hit shows like Bonanza, Little House on the Prairie, and Highway to Heaven. Now his son, Michael Landon Jr., is following in his father's footsteps by making a name for himself in Hollywood as well. Join Factsverse as we take a look at the life and career of Michael Landon Jr. while catching up to see what he's been up to lately. Michael Landon Jr.'s early life and rise to fame. Michael Landon Jr. was born June 20, 1964 in Encino, California, to parents Michael Landon and second wife Marjorie Lynn No. He has 3 full-blooded siblings, Christopher B. Landon, Leslie Landon, and Shauna Landon, and several half-siblings, including Cheryl Lynn Landon, whom his dad fathered during his first marriage, Jennifer Landon from his father's third marriage, and Sean Landon, who was also conceived during his father's third marriage. His paternal grandfather was Jewish, while his mother on the same side of the family was Catholic. Michael Landon, however, was raised Jewish despite the fact his mother and father didn't agree on matters of religion. While Landon Jr. has made several appearances in TV shows and films, he's been able to carve out his own path in the industry as a successful executive producer and director. So while his father shined in front of the camera, he's found a more comfortable position sitting confidently behind it. But just like anyone else, his childhood heavily shaped his later life. Landon Jr.'s childhood was filled with celebrities, wealth, and a bit of extravagance, but he and his father didn't always see eye to eye on things. When he made his entrance into the world, Landon Jr.'s father was in the middle of his extremely successful run on Bonanza. But when he was just 18, his father kicked him out of his home. Up until then, life had been good. He was raised in his family's opulent mansion in L.A., and simply having the surname Landon made everything pretty easy. But when he had to set out into the world on his own, he had to find his own path to success. But he wasn't completely without a paddle. He already had a leg up on the competition, seeing as how he experienced his first taste of the spotlight when he played the character Jim on Little House on the Prairie in 1977 when he was 13. He went on to star in several Bonanza sequels as the character Benjamin Benji Cartwright. These sequels included Bonanza: The Next Generation, Back to Bonanza, Bonanza: The Return, and Bonanza: Under Attack. Hey, if you're enjoying this video so far, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to Factsverse if you haven't already. And stick around for a lot more about Michael Landon Jr. Michael Landon was a devoted father and quite the trickster. Landon Jr. certainly had a unique upbringing. Not only was he raised in a mansion with a world-famous father, but he also got to spend a lot of time with him on set. Whenever he'd have breaks from school while his father was working, he and his sister would get to spend some time on set, and because of this, they became rather close with child stars like Melissa Gilbert and Melissa Sue Anderson. These young kids would get to spend their days on a 100-acre backlot in Simi Valley, California, where they'd play tag and hide and seek while occasionally hunting down snakes. Landon Jr. fondly remembers his father as being a playful prankster who loved getting a rise out of others. On many occasions, Michael would put a small frog, lizard, or something of that nature in his mouth, then go up to a guest on set and open his mouth, freaking them out. According to Landon Jr., his father was constantly pulling tricks like that, and it's something that made him so special. But even though Landon was someone everyone recognized and respected, he wasn't someone who liked to show off too much. He preferred to spend the majority of his time with his family and didn't have many friends in show business that he spent a lot of time with. Rather, he'd spend most of his time at home trying to give his children a fairly normal childhood. Landon Jr. recalls his father loved to pull jokes on his kids and had an exceptionally salty, as he put it, sense of humor. Often he'd do things like go outside just to rattle the screens or jump out of places to get a rise out of anyone who was around. On one occasion, he donned a bear costume just to scare the heck out of Landon Jr. and his sister. But beyond these antics, Landon Jr. also recalls how his father was a masterful storyteller. Whenever he had people around that were willing to lend him their ear, he would chat their ears off with tall tales, potentially exaggerated stories from his life, and things like that. And he was apparently really good at it. Whenever he'd have an audience, he would successfully hold their attention for as long as he intended to. Michael Landon Jr.'s childhood had its ups and downs. Even though Landon Jr. had a decent childhood, it also had high and low points, and for a while he didn't talk to his father at all. When he was 16, his parents divorced, and that turned his world upside down. Around this time, he started acting out. He turned to drugs and alcohol to numb his feelings and started behaving erratically. For a while, it seemed as if he was perfectly content with throwing his life away. His mother, Lynn No, was very distraught by the trajectory of his life and did her best to help him get his life back on track. That's when Landon Jr. decided to go to church, where he met a pastor who took him under his wing to help him out through this difficult phase. Landon admits he received a few hard knocks when he was a teen. At one point, his mom kicked him out of the family home and cut him off financially. He was the furthest thing from happy at this time, but he's now thankful his parents chose to go with the tough love route instead of making excuses for and putting up with his behavior. Once he regained some stability, Landon Jr. realized he wanted to be in the entertainment industry like his father, but he didn't necessarily want to become just another Hollywood actor. He wanted to walk his own path, so after high school, he attended USC and later studied at the American Film Institute. After graduating, he worked in just about every position in Hollywood you can think of, including stints as an assistant cameraman, production assistant, apprentice film editor, and even an actor, even though he didn't want to focus on that. Landon Jr. became an award-winning film director and producer. From an early age, Landon Jr. knew he'd rather devote his time and energy into developing a career behind the camera instead of in front of it. It didn't take him long to start writing screenplays for major studios like NBC, Disney, CBS, Hallmark, and Fox. Nowadays, he's been in the industry for more than 2 decades, and along his journey, he's produced and directed several films and won various prestigious awards. He got the privilege to work with his father on several projects as well. One of his most treasured memories of his career was getting the chance to work with his father on a pilot called US. On that project, he served as an assistant cameraman, and one of the most memorable moments from that production was when his father looked at him after giving a particular performance seeking affirmation that he nailed the shot. Even though he got to work with him for 5 years on Highway to Heaven and other projects, just having that first moment where his father entrusted him with the creative process was particularly powerful for him. In 2003, Landon Jr. won 3 awards for his film Love Comes Softly, which he directed. He's also been honored with awards for his 2004 film Love's Enduring Promise and 2005's Love's Long Journey. Landon Jr. values his family life just like his father. In 1987, Landon Jr. married the love of his life, Cherie Gregory. The couple has since welcomed 3 children, Ashley, Brittany, and Austin. Since 2013, Landon Jr. has served as producer on the Hallmark drama series When Calls the Heart, and in 2019, he produced a Canadian TV series called When Hope Calls. With the help of his business partner, Brian Bird, Landon Jr. founded the production company Believe Pictures, and he's since gone on to release 3 feature-length films. He's also authored 4 novels, including his latest work, Finding Mercy, which hit bookshelves in 2014. Also in 2014, the surviving cast members of Little House on the Prairie reunited on The Today Show. Michael Landon Jr. was there to represent and honor his late father. Now it's time to hear from you. Do you think Michael Landon Jr. has done a good job upholding his father's legacy? Let us know in the comments section below. And before you go, make sure you give this video a like and subscribe to Facts First if you haven't already. Click the bell icon to stay updated on all our latest content.